presentation about Newcastle Upon Tyne's sustainable events and how we remain to be the #1 green city in front of about loads of different countries from loads of different Newcastles from across the world.
It was really interesting. There was a presentation from Newcastle College young people, Eco Commission, talking about how Newcastle here is doing well about energy, and then we had a discussion about our Newcastle, how it's going on.
Well, now we're just painting our customized t-shirts and having a good time together, and I hope that all the days of the week will be that great.
Okay, our idea was sort of reusable cups for festivals, basically. It came out of an idea from Tim, who they sort of have the same thing in their country, but basically it's linked with the first session because it's very environmentally friendly to reuse these cups rather than producing a lot of waste for every festival, and it's also cheaper, hopefully, for the festivals themselves because they don't have to buy in quite so many plastic cups. Is that enough of the business? Shall I move on to our three thingies?
Yeah, please.
Great. So we actually decided that our three key areas were the same as our three key difficulties, because if you failed in your three key, they were the most important things to us. So quite simply, it was funding, which was support. Funding, which obviously is about money. The second one was support / knowledge, so just like how to write a business plan and getting help with that. And the third one was actually sort of marketing it to our customers and finding them. And that was it. And those are our three problems, whether we've managed to do them or not.
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much. Do we have another group of...
Okay, right, hello everybody. Our idea was called Unique Accessories. It's basically making things like bracelets, t-shirts, and just accessories, basically. And our three main things we thought that we need to start this business is we need support, because without support we can't get anywhere in a business. You're going to have support from things like friends, family, and all those different areas. We've put funding / resources, because if you don't have the resources to make things like bracelets and beads, and the last one we put marketing, because without if you can't market your product, regardless of how much money you have and the connections that you have, if you don't know how to market something, it's not going to go anywhere. So they're the three most important things that you work on. Our problems, especially in the accessory sort of business, would be competition, because there is so much competition in a market like that. Just getting your product out there is the important part. Lack of support, because same as the top, if you don't have support, it's going to be hard to go anywhere. And again, the resources, because if we don't have the resources, then we can't make it. We can't make our product. Okay guys, and that's all. Unique Accessories.
Bow tie business. But it's a unique business in that the material we use, it's like African material or like unique material, so that it's got that little edge. Yeah, problems. Okay, well, our three main things that you need, we've got money, because you can't do anything without it. Marketing, because you need market research and then branding and then advertising and everything like that. So that's why, yeah. And then support, because you need the knowledge and you need the help if you come into a problem. Three problems: lack of money, poor marketing, because like you could have the best product in the world, but if no one knows about it, you're not going to sell any. And production process, because if you've got a closed production process, you don't really have anything to sell. So, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you very much.
Start a magazine for like the youth and basically everyone in the Newcastle. So our things that you need is first of all funding and money, because if you don't have money you can't start a business. And second, advertising, because if no one's able to understand and read your magazine, then you're not going to get readers, which is going to make no profit. And third is market research, so you can actually understand what people in the city actually want to read about. So you're not just writing about a load of waffle that no one wants to read about. The barriers is to gain funding and to the competition. Because I know that in Newcastle there's lots of different youth-centred magazines. So you want to be able to make ours stand out and be more accessible through the internet and something. And also timing, because to run a magazine you need publishers, writers, photographers. So to have everyone at the same time being able to finish their work is going to be pretty difficult. So, yeah.
Great. Explain why that is. What percentage of young people own a hoodie? Something here?
Next one is 1% of young people admit to not respecting their elders. Let's go to the most.
1%.
A lot of colleges have their own newspapers, but they're not very. Lucy has a friend who's a journalist.
I don't know because
So we decided, with inspiration from a law that Tim told us in Switzerland about something to stop racism in that country, where you weren't allowed to name the nationality in a crime or negative story.
Yeah,
is that correct?
A
crime. So we thought we should create a law which you're not allowed to name the age of a person in a crime or negative story.
And we could still add the nationality in case of doing really slow.
If we want to add that in, that's fine as well. And then that's basically the gist of it. And then coming from, it draws inspiration from the UN Convention on the Rights of the
So
Child.
actually, we're finding it difficult to just make a law because to I don't know, restrict the press, the freedom of press, because it's against human rights. But then you can use Children's Rights Convention that UK also signed, which states there's 3 P's. There is provision, protection, and participation. And so protection, we thought that it's a matter of fact that if you say that young people do bad things, you're not protecting them. You're putting them into danger, because then adults or older people would just hate them or think they're bad people. Don't give them a chance. So I think it's important to protect them by these laws. That's why we called it.
The Youth Image Protection Law.
Okay.
And that's it, I think. And then there was also another bit on it where pages in newspapers had to devote 1 page to sort of youth in every edition.
It's already good to not to speak badly about youth, but it's not enough to make older people trust them and give them responsibility. So it was good also to speak well of them and give them confidence in themselves. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. Great. This is our radio advertisement.
You have to get in the middle.
I have to go in the middle. So I started with a bit of a...
Rolling in 3, 2, 1. Right, you young people today can't make me on that seat on the bus. Usual.
No, stop it. It's time to stop the negative image of young people. 8, 12, 15, 19, 30, 51, 77, 92. Our age is just a number, isn't it? It shouldn't be a main of discrimination. Our new law, the Youth Image Protection Law, will prevent this by stopping the media putting the focus on negative stories and changing their image into a positive one.
Youth Image Protection Law. Good for everyone.
Basically, our idea was so brilliant that another group came up with it as well. So, it starts, we thought, because the press, they just want to sell newspapers, so bad stories sell. So we can't really stop a negative image. So we thought we'd kind of counteract it with a positive image and have, like, make it almost mandatory for newspapers to have at least a column or like a minimum word count for weekly. To like promote young people and so yeah, it's like, but it's reported by young people. So it's young people's stories about the good things that they're doing. Or if we couldn't get that, like have a monthly newspaper with like the same kind of thing in it. And then there would be fines for any newspapers that didn't do it. Yeah, so we were doing a TV advert, but we didn't film it. So that was kind of, yeah, I'm not sure what that is. That's kind of like the layout of what a page in a newspaper would look like, because we've got like the article, and but it's like by a young person, and then we thought we'd have like a little bit of the work of the youth council just because we can, and then like each week there'd be an advert for like a different like local charity that works with children, or a charity of like children doing good things, so that like each different charity would get a chance to be seen. And then we have like a storyboard of our advert. So basically it would start in like black and white kind of old days and be like, in the old days this is what would happen, and like have a hoodie like beating up an old lady or something. And then it gets into modern day where it's like the same person in a hoodie like comes and then like helps the granny with the shopping or something. And then it basically explains about our thing. And then, oh, we're called Kids These Days. That's probably quite important. Yeah. Anything else? Is that pretty much it?
Oh, you're the perpetrator.
Oh, he's got a hoodie.
Watch out!
Yeah.
See the kids?
Oh yeah, and one of the bits that someone's going to say in the advert is, kids these days are not what you think. We are an important part of the community and the future. To meet the real kids in your town, check out the Kids These Days column in your local paper.
Okay. So we've written an article because we also had a really similar idea to the newspaper about having a youth newspaper. So this would be the first page of our youth newspaper, and these are some of the drafts that you would get in a newsroom for the layout of what it would be set out like. So yeah, lots of different scribbles and ideas, and this is sort of the final draft of how our newspaper would look. We even have a cartoon for really, really young readers, so that they can understand the issues of the day. And the first news item is about the Youth Parliament being devised by the House of, Parliament. And it would consist of young people between the ages of 11 to 18, so basically anyone who can't vote but still has an opinion and still has a voice. The aim of the House is to give a voice to those who cannot vote around topical issues that will affect them now and in the future. And it says here that the revolutionary approach is going to be copied by the EU and the US, so it's working quite well by the sound of it. And David Cameron says, as a country we are leading the pack with youth involvement in Parliament. So we're doing quite well.
That was true.
And this is just an example based on the UK one. And in South Africa we have a youth league already. So if we can implement this in the different countries, it will be very productive. And then we have statistics that we can release in every weekly newspaper. And like we did this morning, what percentage of stories young people in the press, what percentage of stories about young people in the press was about crime, and it was 33, and the stories in the press celebrated by teenage positive achievements, 88%, what percentage of youth admit not to respecting their elders, 1%. So in every Newcastle / South Africa, you can South Africa, you can get your percentage and make your not your youth only, but the rest of the elders also aware of it. So yeah, anything else?
Shan?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, this afternoon we are doing youth voice.
I think everyone could get the plaque.
Picture of it with our marvelous castle. Yeah, in future. Jealous? You have to be between 12 or 20, between 12 and 21 years.
Our youth council in South Africa, Voice of the Youth is actually second method of where youth voice is heard in Newcastle is.
So, I'm Jens Christian. I represent the youth parliament.
Really, you read the book and you know how to do a youth parliament. That would be the goal in more general and legal, like for the whole world in English, would be edition of the book. And the third one is to send representatives in each city, like
incorporate it very well with what you guys are doing. You will be appalled at how slow all these technological things people of my generation are.
Why can't you be part of that? Why do you insist on having everything?
It needs to be one website for the Newcastle Alliance, and all these, the youth can have their own section there, business can have their